also just want to do what I'm supposed to on parole. I don't understand why I have to be different. I don't understand what makes me different. Because to me, I'm just another average bear.
The whispers have turned into a full-blown scandal, and Gypsy Rose Blanchard finds herself in a whirlwind of controversy yet again. After earning a second chance at life following her release on parole in 2023, Gypsy's actions are now under intense scrutiny. This isn't just gossip, it's a scandal with teeth, backed by a treasure trove of hard evidence meticulously brought to light by the determined content creator Kit Joy. Known for her unflinching reporting, Kit has peeled back the layers of Gypsy's post-prison life to reveal allegations that could shatter the fragile foundation of her newfound freedom. Gypsy, who served time for her role in the shocking case involving her mother, Dee Blanchard, was expected to abide by strict parole conditions set forth by Louisiana's justice system.
And today I got audio proof of her saying, "I told Gypsy to lie" to her parole officer. And so this is why, Brianna, people don't want to be your friend. She is spending all of this time right now trying to smear her friends that have defected from her.
These weren't just guidelines, they were non-negotiable mandates designed to ensure she stayed on the straight and narrow. But according to the bombshell investigation, Gypsy has been blatantly flouting these rules, putting her freedom in serious jeopardy. The revelations are jaw-dropping. Gypsy is accused of using her husband Ryan's account to maintain contact with inmates, a direct violation of her parole conditions. This breach alone could result in her parole being revoked, sending her straight back to prison. But it doesn't stop there. Evidence also points to a chilling pattern of deception and manipulation.
And cut ties with her and saying that they're the problem when she's the one that's been the problem the whole time. When she's the one that's been gaslighting them, lying to them, and then they've had to lie for her. So her friend all of these months has known that they lied publicly to protect Gypsy.
Sources allege that Gypsy's confidant, Bree, advised her to lie to her parole officer to cover up her misconduct. The implications are severe. This isn't just a lapse in judgment, but a calculated attempt to sidestep the law. As if the parole violations weren't enough, Kit Joy's investigation paints an even darker picture of Gypsy's post-release behavior.
And I guess I'm getting a huge culture shock. So, at the end of the day, I will still do whatever it takes to make me free. I do not feel free right now. I feel like I am in a different form of prison.
Instead of showing growth or remorse, Gypsy is accused of fostering a toxic environment, engaging in harassment campaigns against critics, and gaslighting those who challenge her narrative. These allegations suggest that rather than embracing accountability, she has doubled down on the manipulative tactics that once shocked the world.
So it only gives one side to the story. And she was wondering, like, can somebody go to my PO? Because they always send it off, she's like, what if something like this was to get me in trouble? And I was like, I don't think you can just get sent back to jail over a text message. That's what I was talking about.
That's not what she was talking about at all. The very next day, Gypsy was going to meet with her parole officer to find out.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Violating parole conditions, particularly in Louisiana, isn't just a slap on the wrist, it's a direct ticket back to incarceration. Communication with felons, especially through deceptive means, is a serious offense. And with Kit Joy's thorough reporting shedding light on Gypsy's alleged misconduct, the walls are closing in fast.
What was going to happen with this situation? Because Gypsy was caught communicating with inmates in prison. So she said that I was going to turn her into prison, or someone was going to turn her into her PO. And she gaslit everyone to try to believe that it was my fault. Not that Bree is the one that told her to lie. And people believed Bree. And today I got audio proof of her saying, "I told Gypsy to lie" to her parole officer.
But here's the twist no one saw coming. Sources reveal that Gypsy's actions may not be entirely her own. There are murmurs of a shadowy influence within Haineako, an enigmatic network that allegedly enabled her to bypass rules and even encouraged her behavior. Could this be the real force behind her downfall? Kit Joy's expose suggests that Gypsy's circle may be complicit, raising questions about how deep this web of deceit truly goes.
And so this is why, Brianna, people don't want to be your friend. she is spending all of this time right now trying to smear her friends that have defected from her and cut ties with her and saying that they're the problem, when she's the one that's been the problem the whole time. When she's the one that's been gaslighting them, lying to them, and then they've had to lie for her.
As the story unfolds, one thing is clear. Gypsy's second chance is hanging by a thread. The justice system is watching, the public is outraged, and the revelations keep coming. This tale of deception, defiance, and betrayal is far from over, and with every new detail, the drama intensifies. At the heart of the controversy is a damning revelation. Gypsy has been communicating with incarcerated individuals, a blatant violation of her parole. But here's where it gets wild. This wasn't a one-time mistake. According to Kit's sources, it's part of a much larger pattern of defiant behavior. The cherry on top, a leaked video that was never meant to see the light of day, and it's enough to make jaws drop. The video, accidentally uploaded to YouTube by one of Gypsy's closest confidants, Bree, captures a conversation that's as shocking as it is incriminating.
So today, I was given the full live that she did that Bree has taken off of her YouTube channel, but I was also given all of the recordings and voice memos of Bree telling the friend what she told Gypsy to do, the lies she told to tell her.
In the footage, Bree is seen coaching Gypsy on how to deceive her parole officer. But instead of offering advice that promotes accountability, Bree goes off the rails. She encourages lying, even going so far as to suggest using spoofing tactics, faking messages to make them appear as if they came from someone else. This wasn't casual chatter. It was a calculated plan to manipulate the justice system. Kit Joy didn't just stop at exposing the video, she provided the devastating context. At the time of the recording, Gypsy was already under scrutiny for her communications with Amelia, a former girlfriend, and other inmates. Her parole officer had flagged these interactions as potential violations, putting her at risk of serious consequences. But rather than owning up and correcting course, Gypsy doubled down, leaning on Bree's advice to cover her tracks.
And then what she said on live right after she spoke to her friend. So she spoke to her friend and said, I told Gypsy to lie. I haven't shared any of this yet, okay? This is from July. But I'm sharing this because I want people to understand, like, I've been saying for months that the Blanchards...
And then came the twist that no one saw coming. After the accidental upload, the video sat on Bree's channel for 3 whole days. Whether out of arrogance, negligence, or sheer disbelief that anyone would notice, Bree left it there, practically inviting the scandal to explode. And explode it did. TikTok creators quickly discovered the video, clipped it, and shared it widely, sparking a frenzy of public outreach. Kit Joy swooped in, using the footage to showcase a disturbing pattern, not just of poor decisions, but of deliberate attempts to avoid accountability. But the fallout didn't stop with the video. Bree and Gypsy's camp scrambled into damage control mode, not with transparency, but with a campaign of cover-ups and deflection. Bree tried to discredit Kit Joy and other creators, claiming the evidence was fabricated. She even floated the idea that spoofing apps could have created fake messages, a defense that fell flat and reeked of desperation. Then came leaked voice memos that added even more fuel to the fire. In these recordings, Bree is heard panicking, not about Gypsy's potential legal consequences, but about protecting their public image. The memos reveal Bree strategizing with Gypsy's circle on how to spin the narrative, showing no remorse for the violations, but a laser focus on controlling the fallout. Bree even suggested blaming content creators like Kit Joy, painting them as malicious liars.
Know what's happening behind the scene. They know that Gypsy's a mess. They know that she's violating parole. They know what she's doing is wrong. But then publicly, they all go on their platforms and fucking lie for her. They all go online. So absolutely nothing you hear out of Bree's mouth can be trusted because she's lying.
And where was Gypsy in all this? Not taking responsibility, that's for sure. Instead of coming clean, Gypsy allowed those around her to rally in her defense, attacking critics and attempting to discredit anyone who questioned her behavior. The cover-up was as deliberate as it was audacious, with supporters working to shift blame and silence detractors rather than address the glaring issues. The most striking part of this entire saga is the utter lack of concern for the actual parole violations. The focus was never on rectifying the wrongdoing, but on preserving Gypsy's image at all costs. This isn't just a story of bending the rules. It's a calculated effort to undermine the justice system and deflect accountability. And here's the kicker: despite all the evidence stacked against her, Gypsy seems to believe she can get away with it. Is it blind arrogance, misplaced loyalty, or sheer confidence in the system's leniency? One thing is certain: the justice system isn't known for letting such blatant violations slide. The question now is how long Gypsy's house of cards can hold before it all comes crashing down. Gypsy's alleged violation of her parole conditions. Communicating with incarcerated individuals is strictly prohibited, yet evidence suggests Gypsy didn't just break this rule. She seemingly disregarded it with a brazen confidence that has left many stunned. This isn't just a minor slip-up. It's a direct breach that undermines the entire purpose of parole.
We actually told Gypsy to lie to her parole officer.
Oh, God.
And she posted a video she was like live on YouTube, and Gypsy called her on the phone, and she said, "I would just lie to your parole officer." And trying to tell her how to get out of this because Gypsy was communicating with inmates. And it was months ago though, but I have stuff you haven't heard yet as seen on TV. So that's what we're listening to.
Parole isn't a free pass. It's a privilege granted under strict guidelines meant to help individuals reintegrate into society responsibly. For Gypsy to ignore those conditions, it's a slap in the face to the system that gave her a second chance. But there's more. Content creator Kit Joy has been at the forefront of exposing Gypsy's post-prison antics, and her findings are as explosive as they are unsettling. At the time of these alleged violations, reports surfaced of Gypsy engaging in reckless behavior, including drinking heavily with friends and even flashing a bartender during a wild night out. While these actions might not directly breach her parole, they paint a troubling picture of someone who isn't taking her freedom or her responsibilities seriously. It's as if Gypsy believes she's untouchable, a mindset that's as dangerous as it is audacious. And here's where it gets even messier. Gypsy didn't act alone. Her close-knit circle of family and supporters, dubbed the Gypsy Camp, didn't just turn a blind eye to her actions. They actively helped her cover them up. According to Kit's investigation, members of Gypsy's camp organized live streams and orchestrated distractions to divert public attention and discredit critics. These aren't the actions of people trying to guide someone toward rehabilitation. They're the actions of enablers, complicit in perpetuating her behavior.
This is supposed to be a good day, and I want to have a good day with everybody else too. But I also just want to do what I'm supposed to on parole. I don't understand why I have to be different.
Legally, the stakes couldn't be higher. For most individuals, a breach like this would lead to immediate consequences, potentially landing them back in prison. But morally, the situation is even more troubling. Gypsy's story captivated the world because it symbolized hope and resilience, a young woman escaping unimaginable trauma and getting a chance to rebuild her life. But now, her actions suggest she's squandering that opportunity, showing a lack of accountability that's hard to ignore. And what about Gypsy's so-called camp? New leaks suggest that her closest confidants are not just enablers, but active participants in a campaign to rewrite the narrative. Take the accidental upload of the now infamous video of Gypsy being coached on how to lie to her parole officer. The video didn't just show poor judgment, it exposed a calculated effort to manipulate the very system designed to monitor her behavior. Yet instead of coming clean or issuing an apology, her camp doubled down on the deception. For 3 days, the video remained public on YouTube, an open secret that was clipped and circulated across platforms like TikTok. The damage was done, but their response was as puzzling as it was audacious.
I don't understand what makes me different. Because to me, I'm just another average bear. And I guess I'm getting a huge culture shock. So.
Insiders now allege that Gypsy's confidant, Bree, who featured prominently in the leaked video, orchestrated a smear campaign against those sharing the clip. In frantic voice memos that have since been leaked, Bree reportedly expressed fear, not for Gypsy's legal repercussions, but for the blowback to their carefully curated public image. These memos captured moments of sheer panic as Bree allegedly brainstormed ways to deflect attention, from blaming tech glitches to claiming the video was a deliberate fake created by haters. One source even suggested that Bree proposed suing content creators like Kit Joy to intimidate them into silence, a move that would only deepen the scandal if pursued. And the deeper you dig, the murkier it gets. Gypsy's camp reportedly turned to orchestrated live streams where they painted themselves as victims of a malicious smear campaign. Some supporters bought into this narrative, but many others began to question the glaring inconsistencies. Was Gypsy truly the victim, or was this yet another elaborate deflection?
At the end of the day, I will still do whatever it takes to make me free. I do not feel free right now. I feel like I am in a different form of prison.
Then there's the issue of Gypsy's relationship with her husband, Ryan. His role in the unfolding drama remains unclear, but rumors are swirling that he may have unwittingly or knowingly played a part in her alleged violations. Reports suggest that Gypsy may have used Ryan's accounts to circumvent communication restrictions with incarcerated individuals, a move that raises serious questions about whether he was complicit or just caught in the crossfire. If Ryan was aware, his involvement could escalate the legal implications for both of them. Adding to the intrigue, Gypsy's mother-in-law, who was once a vocal advocate for her, has reportedly distanced herself from the situation. Unnamed sources claim she's been overheard expressing concerns about Gypsy's behavior, signaling cracks in the once solid facade of familial support. Legally, the stakes are now higher than ever. Louisiana's parole system doesn't take kindly to violations, and Gypsy's alleged actions could very well land her back behind bars. Public pressure is mounting for the justice system to act decisively, especially as these revelations fuel a growing perception that Gypsy is gaming the system. And let's not forget the broader implications. What message does it send to others on parole if someone can allegedly flout the rules so openly without facing consequences? Kit's investigation doesn't stop at Gypsy's actions. It delves into the troubling role of her inner circle in enabling this behavior. Instead of holding her accountable, they've reportedly worked to shield her from the consequences of her choices. This isn't support, it's complicity. Parole is about trust and responsibility, but Gypsy's story is starting to look like a cautionary tale about what happens when those values are ignored. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's another twist. Kit uncovered evidence that Gypsy's camp tried to spin the narrative further by blaming others. They accused critics and content creators of fabricating stories, even floating bizarre claims about spoofed messages to explain away the evidence. It's a desperate move that not only lacks credibility, but also underscores the lengths they'll go to deflect blame. At the end of the day, parole isn't just a set of rules. It's a test of character. It's about proving you've learned from the past and are ready to move forward. But Gypsy's actions tell a different story. From reckless behavior to blatant violations, she's raising serious questions about whether she truly deserves the second chance she's been given. And while her family and friends may scramble to protect her, the evidence speaks for itself. Now the spotlight is back on the justice system. Will it hold her accountable, or will Gypsy slip through the cracks once again? One thing is clear. The world is watching, and the truth has a way of coming out no matter how deeply it's buried. This unfolding drama is like a roller coaster you can't get off, leaving everyone holding their breath for what comes next. Gypsy Rose Blanchard's second chance is dangling by a thread, and the stakes have never been higher. With bombshell accusations, damning leaks, and a tangled web of deception, it's clear that this story is far from over. The question is, will justice catch up with her, or will Gypsy's camp spin their way out of trouble yet again? Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we know, this saga is bound to take another twist. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share your theories. Because when it comes to Gypsy, every detail counts. Like, share, and subscribe for more updates as we dive deeper into this jaw-dropping scandal. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching.